WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
FM 88.1 WHPR, Highland Park.
WVIE 107.3 FM Charlotte, Amalia, Virgin Islands.
The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
My name is Watson.
And my name is Mariah.
We're 12 years old.
And we're representing Old Redford Academy Middle School.
And we're here to talk about drugs.
Drugs are very dangerous and unhealthy.
And they can also ruin a relationship with your loved ones. Go talk to a family member, a friend, even a teacher, or you can go to a therapist, or if you need any extra help, you can go online and find all of them.
Hashtag not worth it.
And good afternoon and welcome to Expose Under the Sun, sponsored by the Detroit Native Sun newspaper. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, and we've got a very, very informative half an hour with my special guest, Miss Regina Brown. And before we get started, you are watching us live from the awesome cities of Highland Park, Michigan, under the auspices of the Honorable Mayor, Hubert Yap, as well as the phenomenal city of Detroit, Michigan, under the auspices of the Honorable Mayor Michael Duggan. Our show is live, and our call-in numbers are area code 313-868-0342, 313-868-0351, or 313-868-4336. And our website is www.tv33whpr.com. And we have a lot of things that are going on in this world today. And one of the things that we are really, really faced with now is our health and maintaining our health. As most of you know, this is National Women's Month. And women are being recognized for all the great and phenomenal things that they're doing in this world. If it wasn't for a woman, I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for a woman, you wouldn't be here. And the thing is that we have to appreciate women 24/7, regardless of what they may be doing today, or what they may be doing tomorrow, or what they did yesterday. You should always appreciate your mother, your grandmother, aunts, cousins, sisters, nieces. I mean, women are our lifebone. And we have to make sure that we recognize them for all the great things that they do for us, with us, and sometimes to counsel and teach us. So today, my special guest is Miss Regina Brown. And Regina Brown has a home health care service called Assistance One Home Care Services. Regina Brown, thank you for being on Expose Under the Sun today with me.
Thank you for inviting me. It's such an honor, and I am humbled.
Well, it is a pleasure, and we are very honored to have you on the show today. But basically, your name of your service is called Assistance One Home Care Services. Where did that name come from, and what got you to start a home health care business?
The name came from, I saw a need, first of all, to help others, assist others. And so I took the name and I said, I want to provide great assistance and I want to be number one at it. So it just flowed and it became Assistance One Home Care, and that stuck with me.
So I'm going to ask this question since you say you want to be number one. Are you number one, or how close are you to being number one?
When a client said they never want to leave our agency or ask me and our team to never leave them, then that seems like a good number one. When a case manager tells you from the state of Michigan and asks you, did you create this form? And you answer yes, she goes, you should implement this and have webinars and teach other agencies. So that's inspiring to me to say that I must be at the top of the list somewhere.
Well, that's one of the things that I always tell people. Knowledge is to be shared, not hoarded. So long as you share it and don't hoard it or keep it inside, that's the important part. So you're pretty much like teaching others how to do the kind of work with the type of quality that you give to your patients in the work that you do, correct?
Absolutely. I believe in duplicating myself or ourselves, so that way everyone is consistently providing that care and that service across the board.
Now, let's talk about home health care. I know we were talking earlier, and I know that everybody may have experienced a loved one that may have had some health challenges or some physical challenges, some mental challenges that they're going through. And everybody is not able to go and qualify to receive a home health care individual to come. Talk to me about that. If a person has a relative that may be in need of home health care, what should they do?
Well, it should be first an assessment done. Our agency, number one, we handle the non-ambulatory part of it.
When you say non-ambulatory, for the persons that might not know what that means, what does that mean?
That means we only handle personal care, no medical, no, only thing with medicine, we just do medication reminders and we can set up the pill medication box. Our team does all the personal care, and you must have, for us, Medicaid. We're a licensed agency through the state of Michigan. And if a person doesn't have Medicaid, then you can pay privately out of your pocket. So that cost is different than what the Medicaid cost is. Also, you have where we do insurance claims for a person that had an auto accident. That is like aid and attendant care. And we can provide all the services according to what the request is. If you don't have Medicaid, or some people have Medicaid, but it doesn't qualify them for the program unless their spend down is met. A lot of people don't know that the spend down can be met, or how to help that spend down to be met. We can help them with that, because so many people need the care, and they thinking they don't qualify, or they've been told they don't qualify because they don't know how to meet the spend down or how to get the bills. So many people are grieving from the pandemic and losing loved ones. Lots of people don't even have the strength to do anything. They're losing loved ones, multiple loved ones, special needs. So it can be mental, physical. We handle any client as long as we can provide a quality service to them and satisfy that client or satisfy the request of a guardian. We get probate cases, guardianship cases. So as long as we can do that, it's possible. Well,
Now you have clients that are pretty much in the Tri-County area.
yes.
What's the furthest out that you have a client that lives in what city? What's the furthest out from Detroit?
Mount Clemens.
In Mount Clemens?
Yes.
Okay. And now when you describe the care that you give to individuals, now, is this something that's done 24/7, like 24 hours a day, or is it something that you give just on a part-time basis? How does your service work?
That's a great question. We are not 24 hours. If a person needs 24-hour care, most likely they'll be recommended for a nursing home, which most people don't want to go in a nursing home if they don't have to. Our clients are assessed by the state of Michigan individually. According to your needs, you have what you call a time and task, and they see what your needs are and apply the services. Then they set an amount of hours per month. So everyone is different, but it's never 24-hour care. So with private care, it can be 24 hours. If you can pay for 24 hours, you paying out of your pocket, or family or loved one, then we provide what they want. There's a cap on what the state of Michigan allows us to do according to the hours. If the client needs more and they could afford it, they can have Medicaid and private, but most don't. They rarely can afford the Medicaid. That's why they're in the program.
So now, for your program, you have about how many, now you call them caregivers, or what's their title?
We're called chore providers. That's
Chore
the title.
providers.
And because we're an agency that's licensed in Michigan, that's the name. It's called the Home Help Program through Adult Services Department, and we're chore providers. But in my private sector, we can be called caregiver, companion, sitter, a multiple number of names.
So tell the average course of your chore provider's day or your caregiver's day. What's the average duties or responsibilities that person? And let me ask this question first. You have both males and females.
As far as providers?
As far as
yes,
providers.
we hire both.
Okay. Tell the day, like the day of a chore provider in that, let's say, 8-hour day that person may have for their client.
Okay. First of all, we're a part-time company only because the hours based on a month, it just offsets a person's primary income. And in going into a client's home and duplicating myself, so this is us across the board. We walk in, we assess the situation. We may create our own, I allow my staff to create their own plan of action, a plan of work. As long as they get the job done, I allow the staff and the clients to build relationship. I'm big on relationship. We walk in, we see what needs to be done. I try to tell my staff, you start with the cooking and bathing area first. Make sure the client is taken care of. You observe the client, and in the pandemic and this COVID situation, we take temperatures if we feel the need to make sure that client is fine before we go in, or for ourselves. Then we may observe them. If something is off, my staff know what to look for. They can see if they're groggy, or if we left a meal, it's not eaten in a certain amount of time. If that happens too many days, that has to be discarded, and we cook something else. So in our days, we shower them, bathe them. Some have shower chairs. We do hair, shampoo, just basic. Cook for them. Put their meals up. Do the laundry if needed in their building, in their home, or go out. We grocery shop for them. So anything that is going to assist them to have a better quality of life, it may not be totally independently, but interdependently, we can get that job done. And that's what my staff does. And my staff has longevity. I treat them well. I give them bonuses, birthday bonuses, whatever I can do. We have a relationship. The staff and clients, they get along well. And sometimes they request certain staff members, if they're available, that's what I allow to happen. So I don't say often to my staff that I'm the boss or I push that button. We are a team. I cannot do it without God. I cannot do it without them at all. I would not be here that long.
Now, let me piggyback on the question I asked you about when it comes down to the male or female.
Yes.
What makes the determination as to whether or not if you have a male to go to that client versus a female or vice versa?
Well, some females don't want a male person showering her, which I totally understand. Some clients don't want anyone showering them, but they end up succumbing to it because they know they can't do it on their own. They want their independency. Then some males don't want a female. They want that male because we just want to make sure what do they prefer if we can provide that to keep the level of dignity and respect up as much as possible.
To do everything that you can to make certain that that person is comfortable, but also their loved ones are also comfortable with the care that your caregiver or your chore provider is giving them at the same time.
Absolutely.
So you say basically some of the responsibilities you could cook, clean house, do some things when it comes down to like bathing or shampooing their hair or something like that. Go out to the store, shop for them.
Yes.
But just to pretty much like be their eyes and ears and their legs
You're
to go out and do a
definitely
lot
that
of the things
as
that
well.
they would be doing.
Yes, you definitely that. If you're with our agency, my staff is so phenomenal. They'll call me immediately if they see something not right. Sometimes our clients have gotten mad of us. I have a 101-year-old client. Well, she'll be 101 on April 4th.
God bless
Very
her.
competent. She's on my board. She's advisory board. And
At 101 years old,
101.
she's on your advisory board.
Lives on her own.
Okay.
And very, very stern. And she advises me well. She tries to help keep me balanced, our staff that we send out. But she reminds us of she wants to keep her dignity, respect, and as much independency as possible.
So now, when you look at, because I know before my mother and father, made their transition.
Yes.
I know there was things that we were concerned, about as far as say with the person or the persons that were providing them, with care.
Yes.
But are there any signs that a person could look at that may have a caregiver or a chore provider? And, because one of the things that we had concerned about with my mother was bed sores.
Okay.
And so, wasn't turned over enough, wasn't rotated enough, in the bed and kept laying on one particular side. So are there any signs that if a person has a caregiver or a chore provider that they should look for with their mom or their dad or their loved one that's being cared for?
Yes. Right now we don't have any bedridden clients, but we had one. In fact, I want to give shout outs. It was my son's grandmother also. She passed away 91 and
How long ago?
just 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well taken care of, family, loved ones. And my thing is, she was the only bedridden person. Fanny Davis is her name, and so we just say rest in peace and bless the family and still keep the family, Davis family, in prayer. But I've been called to go into a nursing home to help clients. Being that we're not ambulatory, they still needed help with their loved one being showered. And I was thinking, wow, I'm being called to go inside a nursing home to assist a client. I didn't know the legalities of it or the boundaries, but apparently this home care or say rehabilitation center was going to let me do it. When I went into the nursing home, this was a point I had to decide to turn down some clients. Can I actually do a quality service? Can I actually handle this client? And without giving information of that person's name, I decided I couldn't handle that client. I don't go after money. I go after quality. So we still, in the private sector of going into someone's home, we look for bed sores or injuries, bruises. We want to make sure there's no abuse, neglect, exploitation. Our clients are sharp, and they tell me everything. If someone steals, we haven't had that situation, thank God, but they will tell me. We have a relationship. I make sure I take my clients out. Let's do lunch. Let's do dinner. Because some of them, in all the years I've been in business, since 2014, I've never seen a family member visit them. In some cultures, in some areas, and we service areas of Macomb, Wayne, and Oakland. So we're everything to them. And in this pandemic, we're fortunate because we grew. We were being called more than ever. I ended up having to start a waiting list. So if we see medical care needed, of course we call 911. Mm-hmm. But now we refer out. I have partners that we refer that does the medical care, the nurses, the doctors that visit, podiatry. So we give their name and we refer them to other areas or other agencies that can actually service them.
Now, at the present time, I always like to, ask a lot of my guests, do you have a need for caregivers or for chore providers at the present time?
Always. Right now, we're building a data pool for our caregivers and chore providers. We want people to apply. I actually need someone right now in Mount Clemens. So you can apply, and I'll give that information when you're ready. And it could be male or female. You must be at least 18 years old, pass a background check. Everyone is ran through the state of Michigan Home Help Champs program, and given a provider ID number. That provider ID number will go with you wherever you go in the state of Michigan, and you can work for as many agencies that you can, because now once you have a background check, they just have to make sure they attach you to their agency. So when a case manager asks us about this provider, we need to show that they have a provider ID number, and if you have a provider ID number, at that point they know that they passed the background check.
Okay. We've got a few minutes left.
Okay.
You segued into perfect time to give your contact information. So if you look in the camera and give your contact information, your phone number, your website, or any other information, that email address that somebody can get in contact with you to ask you more questions.
Right now, I'll give you our phone number. Directly to me is 313-293-2944. The office is 248-996-9144. Or you can email me at assistance, ASSISTANCE, the number 1, homecare@gmail.com. And then you can get the website and information address from there. And other than that, I just want to make sure people know that we're here for them. In this day and age right now, people are hurting and need support. And that's the reason I started the business. You don't want to be overwhelmed taking care of family members. And I have a special needs son myself who was injured at birth with cerebral palsy. So my staff help service him. We support each other. And even running and starting a business with him being in his condition has been majorly challenging. But by the grace of God and waking up every day, I tell God and let God know and remind him, I cannot do this without him. And we cannot do this without him. And if we cannot provide a quality service, then we're not going to take the client.
So there may be other women that may be interested in either working as a chore provider, or they may have a relative that might be almost at that stage to where they're needing some assistance in caring for that relative. Because one thing I used to tell myself, and I tell others, it's not like you are defeated if you do ask somebody to help you to care for your mother, your father, or grandparent, or somebody
Absolutely.
like that. You know, it's not saying that you're not doing what you could be doing. It's just saying you just might need a little bit of assistance. And
Absolutely.
sometimes it's difficult with the time of day and the work hours and other things that, you know, go on, that you may not be able to give that care 24/7.
Absolutely.
Because you got to watch all the time, you know, to make certain that they, meaning your loved one, doesn't do anything that could harm or injure themselves. You know, and for me, I know it's like with my mother and father, that you kind of almost have to sleep with one eye open because of the fact that they may get up in the middle of the night
Absolutely.
while you're asleep, and then could do something, could fall out the bed, could be trying to go to the bathroom or something like that, and may have a difficult time in doing that. But just real quick, before we wrap up, give some encouraging word to persons that may be interested in going into the healthcare field, being a chore provider, being a caregiver. What would you recommend, or what would you suggest to them? What type of character or temperament, or what are you looking at that would pretty much encourage them to do something like that?
They must be a person that care. You must have the ability to sacrifice, be disciplined, stand alone, make decisions, be able to communicate. And then, being that this is International Women's Month, I want to say to all the women and anyone around the globe, we as women, it's through us, it's for us to help our world. We can make a boy, a girl, a man, or woman better, because that's how we are. Life is like a chess game. Who is the most powerful piece on that chessboard? It's a woman, the queen. And she needs to be protected so she can continue doing her job to nurture, to movement maneuver, and make the decisions behind the scenes, whether it's with that man, without that man. You need the characteristic not only for yourself, your family need to support you. That mate, that spouse, they can't be insecure. You might be gone long hours, and we may not get paid as much as we should in this area, but it's just like we're being a doctor, because you're gone. You may be on call. When someone need you, everybody is important. And everyone says, when I need you now. Sometimes they don't know how you're going through emergency, that you're in pain, that you're hurting. You have to have stamina, and you have to be able to balance. And sometimes just be honest, like you said. I'm an open book. The caregiver might need a home caregiver sometime, or the house, the chores done, you know?
Exactly. Well, this half hour has gone by so fast.
Yes.
I appreciate you coming on the show. Again, my special guest today was Miss Regina Brown, and she has Assistance One Home Care Services. And appreciate all the information that you gave. Give your contact information one more time before we close out.
Regina Brown, 313-293-2944 or 248-996-9144. Email assistance one home care services at gmail. Let's go back. Assistance one home care at gmail.com.
Thank you again. And
You're
again,
welcome.
reach out and touch one of your loved ones and let them know that you do care
Absolutely.
about them. But if you do need some assistance, you can always contact Miss Regina Brown.
Thank you.
You've been watching Expose Under the Sun, sponsored by the Detroit Native Sun newspaper. If you'd like to advertise in the Detroit Native Sun newspaper, you can contact Ms. Valerie Lockhart at area code 313-457-5944, and you can pick up a copy of the Detroit Native Sun newspaper at a lot of local venues throughout the metropolitan Detroit area. Again, thank you to Regina Brown. Thank you to everyone that's been watching, and we hope that you have a great remainder of this day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and reach out and tell somebody you love them.